What's up everyone? So today I'm going to be doing a video on how to set up and install the Halo 2 for Windows Vista dedicated server on Windows 8.1. I had a couple people ask me about how do you set one up so they can have a server running 24/7. I'm going to show you guys how. Okay? Alright, so first things first, you're going to need to make sure that you have the Halo 2 installer. That's going to be the biggest one because that's how you're going to actually get to the dedicated server setup. So make sure you have that. There's links listed in the description below of how to get a hold of that. I think it's a torrent link. Alright, so once you get a hold of the Halo 2 installation directory, what you want to do now is you want to go to that, and it's going to look like this, pretty much. And what you want to do is you want to go to startup.exe. And if you already have Halo 2 on your computer, which more likely you already have anyways, the window's going to look just like this. During the Halo 2 installation, we did a customized game install, but this time we're going to do install dedicated server. Okay? Alright. Now, I've already installed the dedicated server on my computer, so I'm not going to really go back through the steps. But basically what you do is you would click next, click more options to make sure that you want the server to be be able to be installed for all users on your computer if you have more than one person use your computer, and then click next after that. The setup will probably take maybe a minute or two to complete, and then after that it's going to ask you to do you want to view a readme file by a checkbox. I do suggest you at least leave the box checked so that it will pull up the readme file, and so that you can go back and browse that later, because that does list all the server commands and how to really use the server properly. So definitely do recommend at least reading up on it once. You can easily get back to the file later. But anyway, so once you have this all squared away and installed, finish this. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to start up, we're going to need to update the game files, because if you don't have the server files updated, then players online will not be able to join your game. They'll usually get an error that will say something about you can't join this game because they're using a different version of Halo 2. So you need to update the server file. So I provided a link in the description below of how to get to this page. Make sure that it is the October 2007 Halo 2 dedicated server updated files. Alright, so just click download there, and once you get that downloaded, all you want to do at that point is to go to the file, which will look like this, extract it to a folder. So usually like right click and then extract to, and then once you get the folder, what you're going to do is you're going to go into the folder and you want to copy all the files that's in here. Alright, so make sure that you do a copy. And then once you copy it, now what you want to do is you want to go to where the dedicated server was installed. So I'm going to go to C drive. So if you're on Windows 64-bit, you'll need to go to Program Files x86. If you're on 32-bit, you'll need to go to Program Files. So I'm going to go to x86 since I'm on 64-bit. Program Files, Microsoft Games, Halo 2 dedicated server. And then once you get here, you're going to want to paste all the copied stuff. So it's going to say the destination has 6 files with different names, with the same names. Replace, yes. And then it's going to ask you, you'll need administrator permission. Make sure to check do this for all items right here, and then click continue. And this will paste all the items that were copied. Alright, so voila, just like that, your dedicated server has been updated to the latest version so that online players will be able to connect to it. Alright, now that we're here, what we're going to need to do now is we're going to need to open up a command prompt or a terminal window so that we can launch the dedicated server. So click start, type command prompt, and then once you do, right click on command prompt and then click run as administrator. Alright, once command prompt or your terminal window has come up, first things first, you need to type cd, which stands for change directory, C:\. // So make sure you type this in. And then once you get to the root of your hard drive or your C drive, type program files. For me, it's going to be program files x86 / Microsoft games / Halo 2 dedicated server. Press enter. Oh, I actually misspelled that, didn't I? Oh, I didn't put the command in. Change directory program files. There we go. Okay. And once we get there, now what you want to do is you want to type h2 server space dash create service space dash live. Okay, now I've already installed my service, but it will basically tell you that the installation has been completed. Once you've done that, what you want to do is you want to right click on the taskbar and then bring up Task Manager. And then go to Services, tab at the top, and then scroll down until you find H2 Server. What you're going to do is you're going to right click on it and then click Start. Alright, then once it says running, you're pretty much good to go. Now if you run into any issues where it won't start, or if it does start and then it stops, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to click Start and then log off. Or in this case, it would be sign off, excuse me. And you're going to need to sign off to your account and then relog back in. And then it should be running at that point. But usually this will get to work, but if not, you need to log out of your account and then log back in. Alright, so once we've done that and the service is now running, what you want to do is you want to type h2 admin space dash live. Alright, now if you notice it says connecting the server, connect it. Once we've got this connected, you'll notice that it's got a prompt. This is the server prompt. So now we're actually in the administrative console of the server. Now we can send server commands that are listed in the README to the server. Okay, now to get the server to work with Xbox Live or Windows Live, because it's actually, even though you have the service created, it's not connected online. You have to type in a couple things first. The first one is you need to set a product key. So under the H2 server prompt, type live space key, then your product key. Alright, press enter and then it will say product key set. Alright, now the last command you need to do is you need to set it to auto sign in to a Windows Live account. So you will need to set up an email and another Windows Live account for like for Xbox, for example, to work. Now what this will do is that by using a Windows Live account, it will take the gamer tag of that account, and that gamer tag will become the server name that's displayed under the Halo 2 game browser list. So if you want to name your server like a real server-like name, you'll need to make the gamer tag set to the server name. Alright, so if you want to make your server called Halo 2 server, then the gamer tag will literally have to be called Halo 2 server. Okay. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to type live auto sign in space the email address. Alright. Okay. Once you do that and press enter, it's going to now ask you for the email password. So you got to type that in, but you won't see it, but it's going in. So the prompt won't be moving. I believe you can still backspace in case you think you messed up, but the prompt itself won't be moving. Alright, so press enter, and it's going to ask you to confirm it. So make sure you type it in correctly again. And then after you press enter, it's going to tell you automatic sign-in enabled. Once you have that set, you're pretty much good to go. Now, in order to make sure that your server is actually connected to Xbox Live. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to type in status. Okay? And first it tells me that the network mode's in live, the current state is signing into what account. Alright? So I want to type status again. Now it says status, network mode live, current state online pregame lobby. Once you get online pregame lobby, your server is now visible to other online users. Okay? Now, let's. I want to talk about how to customize your server. All right. So once you have your server up and running, now we need to set playlists. All right. So if you notice too, under the status, it tells me the default playlist that it's running. It's running this playlist at this directory location, and it's also pointing to the custom map folder if you use custom maps and where it's located. And then it's also telling me the current game type on what map, and then what the next game type on what map will be, and that I currently do not have any players on my server. All right, so that's fine and dandy. All right, so I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this window. I'm just gonna minimize it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and create a new playlist so that I got my own customized playlist. So I'm gonna make an MLG free for all playlist. So in the description below, there's a link to Playlist Creator, an awesome user interface that makes your life so much easier, because this will help you create the playlist without really having to do a lot of typing. Alright, so once you download that, you want to go ahead and start that up. It might take a couple seconds to open. Alright, there it is. Okay, so Diablo Vixen, great person, made the playlist creator to make our lives easier as server admins. Alright, so now what we're going to do is going to click on create new playlist. It's going to select, it's going to ask you for basic or advanced. A lot of times you can get away with basic. I will explain advanced to you though. These options are optional. If you don't need these, then go with basic. But what this does is allows you to set the time in seconds for each thing. The pregame team selection basically means when you join the lobby, it'll give you this X number of seconds to be able to change your team and to be able to type in chat and all that good stuff. The pregame delay timer in seconds counts down, and once it counts down to the max time, then the game countdown timer will start. The timer that goes 10 seconds and then beeps all the way to the end. That will start with this point. The post-game delay is basically how long players have to wait or stand by in the post-game carnage report while they're viewing their game stats before they return back to the pre-game, or until they return back to the pre-game team selection delay again. So it basically just runs in a cycle. You start off here, you end here, and then you start back here. Alright? If you don't need these, then you just don't need these. You can just go to the basic button and leave that all in. Okay? For the purpose of this, I don't really need it, so I'm just going to leave it. But for the playlist description, I'm just going to call it MLG FFA. This easy way to be able to identify it. And I'm going to turn shuffle on so that it's randomly generating my matches. Now, there is a server command, it's called wait, that will actually allow you to increase or decrease the probability of certain matches appearing. But you'll need to check in the README about how to set that up. Okay, so I'm going to be specifically talking about this program. This program actually doesn't customize the wait, or it doesn't give you the options to customize the wait, but you can easily go and edit the file, and I'll explain how to do that at the end. Alright, so I'm going to click on shuffle and then hit add to playlist. Now it's going to ask me to create my custom variants. Alright, so now this is basically the game variants, the same thing you will see in the Halo 2 settings menu. So I'm going to call it MLG FFA. It's going to derive from base Slayer game types. And now I customize all of these. Now, one thing to note, all the drop down boxes have to be set to something. If you don't, then it will give you an error when you click on add variant. So you have to make sure we set all the drop down boxes. The check boxes are optional. Alright, so this is an FFA game, I don't need teams. So score to win is going to be unlimited. Team scoring, I need to set the least sum. Respawn time modifier, none. Betrayal penalty, none. I'll turn on suicide point loss. I think that's legit. Number of rounds 1. Round time limit 15. Max number of players 8. Lives per round unlimited. Respawn time, respawn 5 seconds. Suicide penalty, none. Shield type, normal. Motion sensors, I want on. I don't need players to spawn with extra damage active, camo, and damage resistance. So I'll leave these unchecked. Alright, so the weapon and turrets, I'm just going to leave map default, because that's usually what the game is defaulted to set these as. Okay, starting weapon, battle rifle. Secondary, map default. Starting grenades on, so we all spawn with nades. Weapon respawn time, double time, because that's the time that MLG uses. Weapons on map, I'll just set the no duels, just so there's no green gun on midship, and that you can actually get, like, you just don't have to worry about all that crazy stuff, SMGs. Active camo, checked. Overshield on map, checked. And grenades on map, checked. The reason why I'm using active camo on map, checked, is so that if I use Warlock, then Warlock will still have the camo spawn. Alright, so once I have all this good stuff done, I'm going to click Add Variant. You can make another variant or click Create Match to continue. Since I'm not going to make another custom variant, I'm going to go ahead and click Create Match. Alright, now if you notice on the right side, there's this box that's filling out with a bunch of text. This is essentially what the playlist file really looks like, but you're using a UI to be able to customize it. So it's like I said, it's easier, and it's the same exact thing as you would opening Notepad and typing all this stuff manually with the correct syntax, of course. Alright, so I'm going to click on Select Variant, and I want to use MLG FFA. And now the Matches box is basically going to ask me what maps I want MLG FFA to be played on. Well, I want it to be played on Midship, I want it to be played on Lockout, and I want it to be played on Warlock. Alright, just those 3 maps. So I'm going to check over here again and make sure that each match is set accordingly. So Midship MLG FFA, Lockout MLG FFA, and Warlock MLG FFA. That's exactly what I want. Once I'm done with all this good stuff, I'm going to click Save, and then I'm going to name it. Now, for a good rule of thumb, the best directory to save this is to go into your Documents folder, go into My Games, go into Halo 2. You might want to create a folder at this point. I'll name my server. You can name your playlist or whatever. I want to name my server, and then I named my test. I'm just going to go ahead and do an overwrite, and that's it. Okay, so now you have a playlist. So now that that's done, now all I have to do is just go back to my server administrator console, and all I have to do is type this. Type play, and now I'm going to need to type in the directory entirely. So just to make sure, I'm going to go back to where I had my playlist file located, just so I have everything typed out correctly. Alright, so this is where I've saved mine at. So I'm going to type play C:/documents/user/ so actually I have to type my name in here. Terry English / my games / Halo 2 / server. Oh, whoops! Then I have to type / again, and then test.html. Wait a minute. I think I did something wrong here. I think I'm missing the quotation marks. I could be wrong, but I think I am. Alright, that time the save file was not found, so I must have mistyped something here. Yep. Now I think about it, I know exactly what I did wrong there. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to where I saved my playlist file and copy it, because this is actually easier now that I think about it. I'm going to copy my playlist file, and then I'm going to go to where the dedicated server folder is at under program files, and go to the playlist folder that's already in here and then paste it. Now, you can't save to this folder in Windows 8 by default. You'll get like a permission denied pretty much, so you have to create the file under your user account, like in your documents folder, and then move it over to the program files folder. It's a little inconvenient, but it does work. And now I should be able to switch the playlist up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I don't need this anymore. Using the play command by default defaults to that playlist directory. So all I have to do is type in this, and as it says, playlist was loaded from where I just put it at, and playlist loaded. Okay, so now to double check, I'll type status again. I'm still online, and now it's playing MLG FFA on lockout, and next it'll play MLG FFA on warlock. All right, so that's essentially how you set up the Halo 2 dedicated server. All right, you're still going to need to be able to have a good connection. Your ping, needs to be fairly good if you're really going to run a dedicated server. You can run it from really any computer. I mean, if the computer is decent, you can run it right on there, and it works really well. You have a lot of administrative tools. You can ban, so you can ban accounts. You can set privacy status. You can set a description for your server, like I can do description MLG FFA game types. And now this will actually appear in the live browser name. And yeah, there's a lot of different cool stuff you can do with it. It's not like a super amount of server commands, but it really doesn't really need to be. There's enough to be able to control and moderate it. All right, so make sure to check at the forum page listed below in the description, because I'll actually have an ongoing discussion with the server and how to set it up. And on there, I'll be talking about how to set it up in LAN mode, because that's a totally different means. It's a lot easier to set it up in LAN mode, but it also runs a little differently in LAN mode as well. And there's a couple commands that you can use in LAN mode outside of live mode. All right. So I hope this tutorial allows you to at least be able to get your server online and running over Xbox Live, so that players can actually join it. And make sure to consult the Halo 2 server README. There's pretty much everything that you need to know about the server is in that README. You can always ask me on the forums as well, or in the comments below. And I hope it works out for you. So thanks guys for tuning in and watching this video on how to set up the Halo 2 dedicated servers. And I hope to be able to play on your servers soon.